the pros and cons of living in Boca Raton 2022, what my buyers are telling me. Stick around. What's up, everybody? It's April Laura, your Florida realtor right here in Boca Raton, and we are going over the pros and cons of living in or moving to Boca Raton. And this is all information that, yes, you can get it online, but for the most part, it's what all of my buyers have been telling me. So this is their feedback, and I figured let's do a video and let other people know, because there are a lot of topics that come up and they keep repeating themselves. And I figured let me just share this with the audience on my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know everything there is about working, eating, sleeping, playing, and living in Boca Raton and in Florida, then make sure you tap that subscribe button and ring the little bell so you're notified every time I do a new video, because it's pretty much all I talk about. My team and I absolutely love helping people relocate here. We get calls, text messages, and emails every single day, and we absolutely love it. But we can't do that unless you give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, somehow get in touch with us, because we've got your back when you move to Florida. Now let's go talk about the pros and cons. YouTube has changed its algorithm recently, and now they want subscribers to hit that like button. So whether you subscribe or not, please hit that like button. I'd love to get this information out to more people that are looking for content just like you. So my first pro is going to be how beautiful of a city Boca Raton is. Time and time again, I have buyers that fly in and they want to move here, and they've heard about Boca Raton and some other cities in the county. They drive around and they end up falling in love with it because it's absolutely beautiful. So it is a very manicured city, and I've said this in many of my other videos, but it truly is very, very pretty, unlike a lot of the other cities that we have here in Palm Beach County in general, and even some other counties. So Boca Raton, the city, takes a lot of pride in making it a very beautiful, manicured, clean city. So it's a very desirable place because of the way it looks, the way it feels, and the people that are drawn to that area. There are a lot of affluent areas in Boca Raton, so I don't know if that is one of the reasons why it's such a beautifully manicured city. I think in general that that's kind of what the city wanted to do with the area, and they've done a very nice job of it, from the homes to the gardens to all the lush greenery, making sure that everything is landscaped, taken care of really well. Now there are a lot of HOA developments in Boca Raton, and then there are some areas that don't have HOAs. And HOA associations are going to have rules and regulations where you have to look a certain way if you're going to live and own a home in that association. So that is kind of everywhere in South Florida, but there are definitely a lot of those in Boca Raton. And there are also, of course, the golf club membership communities that are, kind of popular. It's not every single buyer. I would say the majority of people that live in Boca Raton do not live in a golf membership community, but there are several of those. So there's lots of different choices, and I think it's because it's just a beautiful city. People are drawn to it. Now the con to that is that it can be quite expensive, and what you get for your money in Boca Raton, it doesn't go as far as some other areas. So sometimes, depending on the price point and what the buyers are looking for, I will show them different areas. My team and I, definitely want to give you options so that you know what you're getting into, you've explored your options, so you are making the best possible choice, especially if you're not from here or don't know the lay of the land. And many times I do show other people other towns and cities nearby that would suit most of their needs, and they end up going back to Boca Raton. This just happened with a current buyer of mine. Just happened 2 days ago. She thought she wanted to look in a different area, Wellington, but lo and behold, she wants Boca Raton. The concern is that you may not get as much as you would get in other cities or towns in Palm Beach County than you will in Boca Raton, because Boca Raton can be a bit pricier, and the homes in general are older. So unless they've been renovated or unless they've been kind of knocked down and rebuilt, then you're gonna find a home that is older than other areas, but at a higher or the same price point. So those are some of the reasons why people do go to other areas to get a newer home, if that's the most important thing. If you can get all the other things in your, your check-off list, and it's not in Boca Raton and it's at your price point with a newer or nicer home, some people choose that. So keep that in mind that it is a bit more expensive to live in Boca Raton. I've put out other videos. It's about 121% compared to the rest of the United States. So you're about 21% higher overall in Boca Raton, and the housing costs are going to be more, and all of the little things are going to be more than the other areas of the country. So keep that in mind. It's also been nicknamed in the past as the millionaire capital. So that kind of tells you that there is quite a lot of affluence. There's a private airport that you can fly into in Boca Raton. There are some very, very, very high-end, beautiful luxury homes, whether they're on the water or just in very affluent areas. So not every home is like that, but I would say the majority of the homes are not in that luxury area or price point, but it's a bit more expensive. So that would be the con to living in a beautiful, gorgeous city with lots of amenities. Another pro to living in Boca Raton would be the outdoor lifestyle. The weather here is gorgeous about 10 months out of the year, definitely more beautiful in the winter months that we're experiencing right now. And so that just lends to an outdoor lifestyle. There's so many parks in Boca Raton. You've got some parks on the ocean that are absolutely gorgeous. You can't really find that too often. There's a dog park in Boca Raton, which is great. You can bring your furry friends. And in total, I think there's about 40 parks just in Boca Raton alone. So you have just an array of parks to be able to enjoy, whether it's with the kiddos and your family, or whether you're doing a solo walk or hike or going to the beach or hanging out with some friends. So lots of outdoor lifestyle. Of course, there's golf, tennis, anything you can do outside, biking. There's lots of cycling groups. There are a lot of motorcycle riders. There's, of course, boating, fishing, jet skiing, all types of water sports. And you can go into the Everglades and really enjoy some wildlife, right? And what South Florida has to offer. Now, I would definitely say that is also a con. Florida and Boca Raton, we do have a lot of Florida wildlife, and some of the cons are alligators, iguanas that are just everywhere now, and snakes. So I want to kind of focus on those three. Let's just start with iguanas. There are so many iguanas. I've grown up in Florida and we've always had iguanas, but now they literally look like small dinosaurs. Some of them get so big and so old and all different types of markings. They don't really bother you. As soon as they see you, they run away, but you'll find them on the edge of like lakes and also in trees. And unfortunately, when they go into the trees, if you park underneath that tree and they, go to the bathroom, that excrete can be very toxic to your paint. So make sure if you ever get that on your car, you make sure to wash it off very quickly as soon as possible, because I have heard that it can eat through your paint. So we do have a lot of iguanas. They happen to be like, sometimes I don't see them at all, and then certain times, most of the time when I'm showing homes and we go outside, you'll see iguanas. So I do know that some homeowners can kill them if they're on your property, but you have to kill them. You cannot maim them. So you have to humanely kill them, but you cannot maim them. And if you do, then I think you get fined. I don't know exactly how much that is, but so you have to be careful. You always want to make sure that you're, taking great care in situations like that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about are alligators. So alligators also, I would say, I just feel like they're getting larger and larger. And yes, there are probably more of them because it's been so long that they've been inhabiting the state of Florida, and it's a problem. So we do now have an alligator hunting season, and I don't remember exactly the dates. I'll look that up and put it on the screen here, but you can also hunt alligators. I do feel like with any animal species, we have to coexist with these animals and wildlife, and I'm not a big proponent of killing anything that's alive, basically, but this is an issue, and I feel like sometimes you just have to find the balance. And when it starts to become a problem. Not that it is in Boca Raton, but in South Florida in general, and Boca Raton, all of our cities back up to the Everglades. So there is a alligator hunting season, and you have to follow those laws to make sure that you're doing it appropriately. And the other wildlife that I have become increasingly concerned about are snakes in the Everglades. So, it has been known pretty much for a long time that a lot of people do end up coming here. They want exotic animals, or they bring exotic animals with them, and then either the animals get loose or they let them go, and they end up in the Everglades a lot of times. So there are several, this is an issue, and a lot of the snakes, python, I think Burmese pythons, and like maybe the big boa constrictors, I'm not really sure, but I know there is a python challenge, and it already passed this year, but I think it's for like a couple weeks. They're actually offering like $1,500 for a python, because it's become such a problem, and they're so enormous. I just saw a video, it happened to be on social media, but it was some kind of a huge snake. I'm sure it was a Burmese python, or maybe some kind of, I've heard also there's some hybrid snakes because of all the different snakes that are coming. I don't know if that's true or not, but my hunter friends tell me this. Anyways, I just saw this video where there was a huge, I want to say an 8-foot alligator that was not digested yet inside of a snake that someone had caught. So this is an issue, and it's a problem, and they're actually eating all of the other wildlife, right? Animals that are in the Everglades, and that's a whole ecosystem. It's really actually quite important to the area. So it's something that has become a problem. So they do have this python challenge. Some of my hunter friends tell me that the issue with that is to find one of these large snakes. It takes about 40 hours invested to try and find one. And that's not including catching one. They're not easy to hunt. They're not easy to find. Therefore, they're not easy to hunt. And anyone that has the time to put 40 hours in to finding one of these snakes and then getting a $1,500 reward, I'm just not sure, depending on what else they do in their life, how good that is for them. So, and then I think there is also a reward for the largest one for the challenge. I think it's like $2,500. So they are encouraging this because of the snake population. Now, with all that being said, have I seen alligators and snakes in Boca Raton? No, but I've seen iguanas, and it's part of South Florida living, so I figured why not bring you this information. Oh, and there's one other thing I do want to mention. I have buyers that came here. They actually came here from California, and they didn't buy in Boca Raton, but this can happen pretty much anywhere. They ended up renting for a couple months because there was a job relocation, and they had 2 beautiful little doggies, and they rented in Loxahatchee, which is very rural, and you're gonna find a lot more wildlife there. So please remember that. But one of the little dogs got out while they were staying in this short-term rental, and it must have licked a bull toad. So he, of course the family didn't know what was happening to him. He started acting funny. I think kind of maybe, I'm not sure if he was wheezing, but I know he started having seizures. And because where they were staying in Loxahatchee, which was pretty far away from the nearest vet or emergency vet center, it took them about, I think, 20-ish minutes to get there. And by that time, there was nothing that could be done. So they did lose their beautiful little doggie. So I told them that I would make sure to put the information out on my YouTube channel, because had they known and had they been aware, then they would have been more careful. And so if you do have animals that are coming here, just if you need to take them out, especially in the beginning while you're getting used to the lay of the land, you want to be cautious of, it's a new environment, and depending on where you're staying, you may have some issues. If it's near a lake, be careful, there might be an alligator. If a dog or cat goes close to the lake, or maybe even a small child, if there is an alligator, it might cause some very horrible effects. And then anything smaller, like a toad, they were not aware that, there were so many toads in this area, and had they known, they would have been much more careful with their precious little dog. Are you finding this information helpful? Please hit that like button. Remember, I'm trying to get this information out to more people that are looking for it, just like you. Okay, another thing that a lot of my buyers love and talk about is the location. Boca Raton is in a great location because you are located just in the middle of so many other things, right? So you're south part of Palm Beach County, but you're so close to like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all the other cities in Palm Beach County. You're like 10 minutes away from downtown Delray Beach, which is a hot spot. Again, the ocean, the airports. You have 3 airports within, I would say, an hour to, about 20 to minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, depending on which one you're going to. PBI, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami Airport. I've talked about all of those in other videos, and this is a huge reason. Again, another buyer of mine, he travels regularly, and they are a family, and they're looking at Boca Raton, but they also looked in some other areas that have newer homes where they're gonna get more for their money in the actual house. But it came back to, he's got to fly for work, and he has to travel for work very, very often. So it's going to make it very inconvenient for him in some of these other areas that we were looking at, because they were a little further north and further west. And although it had all the other things checked off, it didn't have the location. So they just figured, you know what, it's worth spending a little bit more, and they are going to continue to look in Boca Raton, and I think we have the perfect house for them, so I'm excited. Now, one of the cons would be traffic. We are coming into snowbird season because it is the end of November, and snowbird season has just started. So everybody anywhere where there's cold, harsh winter weather, they flock to Florida, whether that be from another country or whether that be from within our nation. It happens every single year. And at that time, our traffic just kind of doubles at least. So you're gonna find a lot of people that don't know their way around. So they're kind of gonna be driving and looking around and trying to figure out where they're going, following Google Maps. And that's gonna be, it's gonna slow down other drivers. We also have a huge retirement community here, so it will get very congested with people that, again, whether they're new or they've been coming here a very long time. And all of these people, honestly, are on vacation. They're enjoying life. Maybe some of them work from home. A lot of them don't. They're just able to have a beautiful life where they can enjoy the winter months in sunny South Florida, but that does create a lot of traffic. I think mostly you're gonna find it when you're going like east to west in Boca Raton, because that stop and go, the traffic, going through the stoplights, that becomes an issue. And it's something that we have to deal with, but it's kind of a pain. And the other thing is, you do need a car. So a lot of people come from other cities where you don't need to have a car per se. You can take Ubers, you can take mass transit in whatever form, but we don't have that. So you definitely have to have a car if you are moving to Boca Raton, and then you'll have to deal with the traffic, and you'll get around it just like I do. So if you do have maybe a little bit of a flexible schedule, and you schedule yourself to go into whatever areas or out of the area at certain times, you will get the hang of the flow and when is the best time to go to avoid most of the traffic. But just like any major city, you're gonna end up getting stuck in traffic at some point. I work a lot with families that are moving into Boca Raton. That's most of the type of people that I am working with, is families. They want specific things, and my team and I know exactly how to fulfill those dreams. That has got to be one of my pros, because this is what my buyers are looking for, and this is what they're reporting back to me, is that they want to be in Boca Raton because it's a great area where they've done all their research for families, for raising children, for schools, for extracurriculars, for the amenities, for everything. And all of this information is online. And I know that's exactly why you guys are watching this content right now, is you want to know, you're consuming content on, moving here, relocating here, and trying to get as much information until you start putting your thoughts into actions. That is specifically what I deal with, is a lot of families moving to Boca. And if you check online, there's bestplaces.com, there's niche.com, there's great schools. You will see that on the average throughout Boca Raton, you're going to see A-rated school zones. Now, do you homeschool your kids, or do you want to put them into public school or private school? That is entirely up to you. Those are your choices. But the people that I deal with and my team deals with, a lot of them are looking for a good public school system with great ratings, and they do end up wanting it. No matter what I say or no matter what other areas I show them, they want to come back to Boca Raton because of what they feel is the best choice for the family. And schools are usually a huge part of it, and also just the amenities, the area, the extracurriculars, sports, activities, the ease of living. It is a great place for families. And again, I would say like mid to west Boca Raton is where I concentrate mostly with a lot of my families that are moving here. So if you want to jump on a call or go over a few things, I'd love to share my screen, show you exactly what I'm talking about, and we can go from there. Now, one of the cons would be, my team and I also help a lot of singles that are moving to Florida, and they always ask me, April, you put videos out on Boca Raton, but you say it's great for families, and I'm, maybe a 30-something, career-oriented single, and I like Boca Raton, but should I live there? Absolutely yes. There are many different areas, mostly I would say probably mid to east for singles, depending on what your price point is and what type of home you would like. Is it a condo, townhouse, villa, single family home, that kind of thing. So yes, there are singles in Boca Raton. I would say the majority, depending on the area. West is going to be more family oriented and maybe retirees. And then mid to east, you're gonna have, more of a congregation of singles or maybe even retired, but wanting like that downtown ocean beach life. It just depends on what exactly your lifestyle is and what you're looking for. Now, with that being said, I would say another con would be maybe nightlife, right? So nightlife, there's not a lot of nightlife for singles if you're gonna go out clubbing and stuff. If you want like a cool lounge, I would say you might want to go down to like the Delray area. Downtown Delray is like a very kind of hip vibe. It's very trendy, and people love to congregate there. And it's not that far away, especially if you live east. So I do get some complaints sometimes from singles or people that want more action. They think that Boca Raton is a little bit slow. So I'm not sure, is that your preference or maybe not? That's up to you. But in order to find that perfect place that you may be thinking of or wanting to go see, make sure you give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, somehow get in touch with us, because we've got your back when you're moving to Florida. And until next time, I'll catch you later.